Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Time with Amy and Bev. We're back.
We're back.
We're back. So, if you watched the previous video, I said that I left you with a cliffhanger. So, dun dun dun. Bev talked about intuition and stories and I was like, oh, I gotta tell you something that happened just yesterday. No, Sunday, 2 days ago. Um, actually, like it keeps how you think about a story and you're like, oh yeah, it started, nope, it started before, nope, it started before that, and you just keep going back. This is one of those stories, but actually it would come back, when I was born. So anyway, all the choices and decisions that brought me to picking up a coin. I picked up a, typically I find dimes freaking everywhere in the weirdest places. But this time I found a quarter. I'm like, ooh, this is a good sign.
Yeah.
I like that. I have a container. It's like a little glass thing. And I put the coins in it that I find. And I have some like dollar bill type things in it too, but like it's full of coin. I can see it up here. And so I will, when I find a coin, thank you for this abundance. Thank you for showing me that prosperity is on its way, or I attract prosperity, whatever my prayer is. And I will put it in my little container. Well, this quarter that I found, I laid it on my nightstand. And the next day, I went to pick it up to go put it in my container, and it was like, nope, put it in your pocket. I'm like, okay. So I put it in my pocket. I went to the grocery store, did my shopping, and I remembered I had a gift card. So I got the gift card out and swiped it, and it said, enter the PIN. I'm like, oh crap. So I flip it over, it's got the little silver stuff on it. So I thought I could just use my nail. Nope. And I looked at the cashier. I'm like, do you have a, and there's people in line behind me. I'm like, do you have a coin that I can use to scratch this? And she's going, I'm like, oh shit, I got a quarter in my pocket. Pulled it out. I said, there you go.
So awesome.
Because I listened to that intuition. Something
Yeah.
said, put the coin in your pocket. I said, okay, I will. Let's see where this goes. Why would I need a quarter in my pocket?
Exactly.
So that was my fun story.
I love it. I love it. It's so awesome. But that's how our intuition talks to us. And it might make no sense at all. And sometimes it might make sense, but it's just following that intuition. Like even like you get out in your vehicle and something pulls you to go back inside. You hear inside your head, get this. And it's like you go in and grab that, and then you find your phone or whatever laying right next to it. So
Yeah.
it was like there's all these things that happen. They happen all the time. And really this is what I've been doing a lot lately, is really listening to the intuition, like
Nice.
really. And so I have it when I get a nudge or a snag or whatever, when they get my attention, they let me know when I'm going to do a video or do anything. Um, so for whatever reason, I listened to all that stuff, and lately those haven't been coming forward. It's been other things that have been coming forward. So it's like, okay, it's just going on the journey. And it's like I told someone the other day, I was talking about, I'm like, I don't even know why I put all this stuff, on the sign or whatever. I'm like, I hope the universe knows what they're doing. And she looked at me and she said, it's called faith. It's called faith. It's you, like, just like when you heard about your intuition telling you to put that quarter in your pocket. We don't have to have a reason. We don't have to know why. Because if you would have known why in that moment, it wouldn't have been as exciting and wouldn't have been as thrilling, or recognizing I'm really on this path. I'm really having these experiences. The synchronicities are showing up all the time. When I listen to my intuition, it's like amazing things come from it. And it's like it's no different than, and it being in that space of that appreciation, but it's no different than you talking about being thankful for that abundance that showed up for you. This is like continuing that process, right? It's so freaking awesome. It's like this all the time. I guess I can't, if something comes into my mind, I'll talk about it right off, but it's like I have these things happen all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. It's such a weird place to be in, though, in these places, because we're right now, unless spirit brings it into my attention, I don't have it. I don't have that right now. So, and I find that interesting too, because everything is right now, just going along with the last video too, just talking about and exploring all these things. Find where I think you talked about this not that long ago, but finding your strengths, using those strengths, but also taking a look at the weaknesses. The weaknesses aren't weaknesses. They're just lacking a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of tools in your toolbox, a little bit of toys in your toy box, right? Like all that stuff. You're just missing something that you're going to all of a sudden listen to, and your intuition's going to be the one that guides you there.
Yeah. And I'd listened to a TikTok video. I never thought, it's the first time I've seen this person, and it showed up on my thing. And so it said in the little message, said no coincidences. And of course that catches my attention, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is interesting, because when I was listening, I was like, oh dang. This guy starts telling a story that he got in an elevator with a lady who's pregnant, and he made a comment about her being pregnant, and she said, well, we have some concern because we haven't felt the baby move in like 5 days. And as soon as he started talking, the baby kicked and started moving. And so they talked about it and parted ways. And then a little bit later, he saw her and just waved, but she was walking toward him. And she goes, since we stopped talking, I haven't felt the baby move again. And he started talking and the baby moved. And
goosebumps.
I know, I'm telling you, when I was listening to this, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. Oh, it gets better though. So she said the baby hasn't moved in 5 days, and then it's moving when he talks. And he goes, well, may I ask, are you having a boy or a girl? And she said, I'm having a girl. And he goes, oh, what's her name? And she goes, Amy. And he goes, well, he said he had to stop and he had to lower his head because he was getting emotional. And she asked him, inquired, what's happening? She said, well, 5 years ago, my mom passed and her name was Amy. And she goes, and he said, this is weird. This is so weird. So he said, she spelled her name Amie. She says, that's how we're going to spell it. We're spelling her name Amie. And if anybody knows me, if you tea time with Amy and Bev, I spell my name Amie. And I'm like, what is happening? Because this is somebody I have never seen on my feed before, like never. And he's telling this story. So I'm like, this is wild. Yeah. And she asked him, she asked him if he'd ever been a godfather to anybody. He said no. And she goes, we would like for you to be our godfather.
So freaking awesome.
Is that crazy? Now I'm like, my head is spinning. I'm thinking, why am I hearing this video? Because this is too many things happening right now.
It's beautiful.
So
it really is.
So we'll see what comes out of that. For whatever reason, I heard that one.
Gosh, so much though.
Yeah.
Really.
Super
Probably
fun.
birthing a new idea.
I know. There you have it. Well, I don't comment very often on videos, but I put in the comment, I said, no coincidences. And I said, Mama is letting you know, Mama's spirit is letting you know I'm back.
So awesome. It's pretty phenomenal. There's so many things that are out there that are like that. And those are the miracles, right? Those, to me, those are miracles.
Yeah.
Because that probably would have changed his whole life if he dropped his head and realized you
The
know, that
connection,
his, huh?
just the human connection, just
Yes.
talking. And
And
then
then the response of a child that you can't ignore. I mean, that's
wow,
pretty scary when the baby's not moving for a week.
5 days. And his mom passed 5 years ago. Wild.
Is
And where that story is going to go.
yeah.
And
And
it's
what does
all,
five let you know?
huh?
I said, and what does five let you know?
Yeah.
It's all about change. It's
Change,
all about
transformation.
change. Yeah.
And it's all because, I know, and it's, and you think it's all because they got in the elevator together and was talking. No, it's the choices and decisions they made prior to that. Even them, the woman and her husband having sex, and this guy over here doing his life, and all the things that brought them to that moment in an elevator to have a conversation. And then where is it going to unfold from there? If he's choosing, or and they want him to be a godfather, how that relationship's going to blossom and what that child's going to experience. Like this, I'm like, dude, I want to follow you for the next however many years. Like, I want to know where this story goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's awesome.
Yeah, super
That's
cool.
good stuff.
But we think that, oh, I just happened to see Tea Time with Amy and Bev. I've never seen them before, and they just popped up on my feed, and they look like a couple of nice ladies. I thought I'd talk to or listen to them. No, you picked up your phone. What were you doing before that? Something said pick up your phone, scroll, bam, whatever. Whether it was our face, the title, the words, it doesn't matter. Something was guiding you to that moment, and there was something in that video, this video, that you needed to hear.
100%. Because if we don't have the courage to even have the conversation, you know, just the conversation in the elevator,
Yep. Just to say
just to
hi.
have that courage, then it's like, well, you would never know it was a missed opportunity. But when
Right.
you find out, and then other people would say, oh, that's just a coincidence. Well, I, for one, do not believe in coincidences. I don't. I
Nope.
don't. I just don't. Everything is there for a reason. I mean, you're like I've talked to you about not that long ago. If I'm turning onto the highway and it says, well, you're on the highway now, and it's like, what the hell? You know, or you know, looking at yourself in the mirror and they're saying, yeah, when you're standing in front of the mirror, and I'm like, what? Like, this is happening right this moment.
I know.
Like, how could you do these things? And those to me are not coincidences. They can be for someone else, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It can be a coincidence for someone else, but I don't live life like that. Everything for me is a message. Everything's a message.
Yep.
It's like the number 5 or 444 or whatever. All these things are there's a trail that we've left for ourselves to
Yep.
make this journey so much more enjoyable.
I every Monday, so I have a private Facebook group, and every Monday I do a pick a card. And so there's 3 cards, and then throughout the day they get to put in the comments what card they want the message from. And then late in the afternoon, I reveal those cards. I put a picture of the cards. Well, this not this Monday, the past Monday, I so I get the card deck and I shuffle them in the morning. Like, I shuffle the deck, and I'm like, please bring forward the messages that will be beneficial for my friends on Facebook who are participating in picking a card. Like, I say this prayer while I'm, and then I'll lay the card. I will lay the cards face down. I'm not even like, I can't see the card face. Like, I don't even know what's on them. And I'll lay them face down until I get all 3, and then I'll turn them over. Well, this particular day was interesting because one of them cards was a dragonfly and another card was a hummingbird. And those were 2 of my Graham's favorite things.
Love it.
I'm like, oh, Grammy, I know you're with me today. She's with me every day. I talk to her every day. So,
Nice.
but
But
that
there's
both
those
of them.
moments that they show, yeah, there's those moments they show up like it's just out of the blue. Like
Yeah.
you could be doing, yeah, it's just so it's they could be with us all the time, but there's such random things that show up and then it's like them saying, hey, Amy, I'm still right here. Still
Yep.
right here. I was there with you during this whole occasion. Just like getting the urge to want to call someone all of a sudden, or when
Yeah.
someone As I remember, I have family that had come in and I'm like, man, I just want to ask you, like, what's coming forward is like immediately, it's like a flash. It's so crazy how things show up. And it's like, and if we don't have the courage to say something, I'm like, because I knew that his grandmother had passed. I'm like, the crazy thing is, I felt like how I wanted to ask you right off, how's your grandma doing? And I know that she had transitioned to another realm. And he says, "Oh, that's funny because I have her ashes in the truck right now." It's just things that come up like that. And it's just having the courage to say it. It's not having the courage to say it and expecting something from it. It's just sharing it. And it's also having trust and faith and spirit. I asked a person recently, I knew that this person's friend had passed, and I asked her if she had any information to show me or to tell me. And I saw her wearing like these almost, and I don't know because I don't dress like this, but I don't know if they make like a wool pants. They weren't slacks, but they were kind of dressy. And it was like she was dressed to the nines and she was trying, wanting to look a certain way or whatever. And I'm telling this person that, and she had no idea what I was talking about. Well, my first part was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what am I doing here right now? And then my second part was like, no, I know what I saw.
Right.
I saw what I saw. And why would she have shown me that otherwise? It doesn't matter if she doesn't understand or doesn't know why it came up. I
Yeah.
know what I saw. I know I have to stand in my truth and I have to know because at first I was like, oh yeah, you could talk yourself out of things, but it's really trusting that those voices, trusting the information that flows to you. It's information. Writing it down. If you don't want to share it with someone else, write it down. But because there's been a lot of stuff that I haven't shared with someone else, because I'm second guessing myself or, afraid of being wrong or judged. And it's like now it's just having trust and faith in that trust and faith that the information is going to come to me that needs to come to me that that person needs, whether it was for her or not. But it was for my personal experience. I had something and she didn't get it. And it's like, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
perfectly fine because I've got to have trust and faith in that because then something could spur the other person and I might hear, a week or two later, like, hey, I just happened to talk to this person's daughter and she has pictures of her wearing this outfit or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just knowing and having that trust.
And you may never know.
You
Like you
may never
said,
know, and that's okay.
she might, like you said, she might see a picture of this person wearing an outfit like that, or somebody might say, yeah, she used to wear blah 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 blah. And that conversation may never get to you for validation. So that's part of being intuitive, psychic, medium, all the things that sometimes the people who don't understand in the moment, like she don't understand this wool looking outfit that you're talking about, she may not understand it in the moment, but it might be confirmed later.
Yeah.
And the you, Bev, me, an intuitive psychic medium, all like we never get that validation. So when you're in that type of a position where you say things like that, and I know you know this, Bev, I'm saying this for the benefit of the audience, but when you have the faith to go ahead and encourage to say something like that, this is where we have to totally separate from our ego, because the ego wants to know, the ego wants to be validated, the ego wants to make sure, I need to know I'm good enough and I need you to validate what I'm saying. And when you're psychic, medium, intuitive, you may not get that, and you can't hang on to the story of I need to know, because you may never know. It might be a true thing, well, it's probably a true thing you said, and they couldn't validate it, but you have to let go of the need to know. You just
Yeah.
gotta be like, this is what I saw, this is the message, these are the words I hear, this is the picture, whatever, and be like, gotta pull back because I gave it to you, you figure it out, because
Yeah.
I don't know the
It's true.
puzzle.
It's true. But then that goes along with anything, just like grabbing that quarter. It
Yeah.
goes along with it's all the same stuff. All of it is. It's just listening to all that information and it's always there. It's always been there. Now, I was in a habit of not listening to that. I was in a habit of trying to find ways to silence all that stuff, but it's like that wasn't, for the longest time, it wasn't in my experience. Something that's kind of came to me recently is bringing ourselves I have asked because I noticed that I don't remember if it was I was unhappy about something. And I wanted to go back to judging myself, not thinking that I was good enough or didn't, and I'm asking myself, like, when did this start? Like, show me the time that it was before I ever thought that I wasn't good enough. But before I ever, because we change ourselves, right? We chameleons and stuff like that. But we change ourselves according to, oh, the cute girl at school, even being in first or second grade, you can notice different behaviors. And then it's like, when did I start looking at myself thinking that I wanted to be everything else but this. I did not want to be this at all. Because there was just, the cute little girls and all these other things. And I was not that. That was not me. That's not how I perceived me. And so I've been asking myself, we talked about asking questions and stuff like that because it provokes things. And that's what my pursuit is right now. I'm asking questions about a lot of these things because why? Because the more that I heal everything within inside of me, I've automatically healed my grandchildren. I've automatically healed my children. And then we're creating such a ripple out from us. So it's like that. I find it very important. And it's like, I don't have to know exactly when it started going wrong, but remind me what did my energy feel like prior to that change? Because that's what I want to connect with. And then in a series of images of me in different stages of life popped in. And it's like, okay, I want to revitalize that energy because that was a pure energy then. It was more pure than it is now, I feel.
Yeah.
So it's like asking, but all these experiences that I've had, and if I got wrapped up in the victim part, oh, woe is me, this happened to me, and that's why the way I am the way I am. But it's like it's not about that stuff. It's about looking at things from a 3D or from a 5D perspective, from a higher perspective, from whatever perspective you want to look at it, but not from the victim space.
Yeah.
And then recognizing the benefits, because me thinking about those things, I wanted to go to the place where it felt good without all that doubt, without all that. Every time did I look at myself in the mirror and think you're ugly or, what's wrong with you? I can't even remember ever sitting and looking at myself in the mirror as a child. So it's just like so many different interesting processes. Like you said, you're looking at a lot of things and processing things, and that's kind of been a lot of what's been going on lately too. And
Yeah.
of course, we just had the full moon just a couple of days ago, and
Lunar
I woke up.
eclipse.
Yeah, I woke up and I thought, well, if I wake up at like, because here in Arizona, it was between 11:27, I think, and 12:36 or something like that. You could see it, the full red moon. And I woke up at like 12:47 and I ran outside and looked and I got to see it. So it was awesome. And then I woke Freeman up and then we both went out and saw it again. Then we went back to bed real quick. But it was like, it's just that seeing that. And I also know if anyone's out there experiencing heaviness and experiencing these emotions, it's not to walk you down through this path and remind you and to hurt you. It's to be able to free yourself from this stuff now. It's to be able to look at it from a higher perspective and have an understanding or have questions that are going to maybe take you to your time frame before you lost your power or before you gave it all away or before before you started thinking that you weren't it. And not that we have to think that we're it, but man, I'll go back to the intuitive story, right? The intuition is so amazing. When you ask a question of spirit and spirit brings you the information, you just take it. And also knowing that it's coming through your own perspectives, it's coming through your own experiences. End of story. We don't have to justify, we just have to have faith in that because it's always been there.
Yeah. One of the biggest things is you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
They're right where you're supposed to be. So whatever you got going on, sit with it and be grateful for it. One of my gifts is I'm a really good problem solver, and I'm embracing that more and more.
Nice.
And I can if there's a problem at work, I'll be brushing my teeth the next morning and it'll drop in as to what the solution or what a solution could be. So I have to go to work and then and kind of present it and see if that's an avenue we want to take, or somebody, a I'll have a coaching session and we'll go through the motions, but then there might be something about the conversation that feels kind of not really incomplete, but I know there's more to goes along with that. And so I could be washing the dishes or putting the dishes in the dishwasher and it'll drop in and I will send that information to my client. I several times I've got off a coaching call, did whatever, and then sit and I'll hop on Facebook because I do a lot of my presence on Facebook for my clients, and there will be a message, like, you're scrolling through Facebook, there will be a message that pertains to the conversation I just had with my client, and I will screenshot it and send it to them. Like, here's a validation. This is what we talked about. So yeah, but being the problem solver it's intuitive because I have to allow myself to internally ask the question and then just let it be. I don't sit and stir on it. I just, okay, well, I think there's more to this, whatever the question might be. And then I go about my life and it just drops in. I don't know how else to explain that. It just like, well, here you go. Here's the answer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. That's so cool. And I don't take credit for like, I did this or I thought about this. It came to me. That's what I will say. It came to me to do this because I know it's bigger than me. So that's all intuition.
Yep. All of it. Yeah. I love it.
And even if like I take that solution to work and they don't like it or they don't want to move forward with it, it opens doors for other solutions. And that's okay too.
100%. Because that creativity helped someone else to see something even different. Yeah. Like, oh, that's so good, but how about we do it this way?
Yeah.
Because all of it is an opportunity. Just like we were talking about in the last video, it's looking at, explore, go start looking at different stuff on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook, wherever you go to. Start looking at these people that are out there that can help bring more information to you.
Yeah. So Bev and I are just here to tell you that intuition a lot of times don't make sense. that's our whole point.
Just go along with it and then and be fascinated, right? Be interested. How is this going to play out? This is like exciting. Now it's exciting. Life's exciting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. When you lean into that and the faith and the trust of what you're receiving, and you learn to co-create and you learn about energy and all the pieces, like I am in a world of fascination, even finding the quarter. I'm like, oh, I found the quarter. Oh, this is a bigger sign of abundance flowing my way. And then that quarter helped me reveal a PIN number for a gift card to pay for my groceries. Like,
exactly.
So good, right? That quarter was access to my gift card. Thank you, universe. That was the key.
I love it.
So anyway, just so you know, you're not crazy. We're all learning this intuitive language, and it doesn't make sense a lot of times, but play with it, roll with it, keep a journal, take notes of what you're receiving. Go back and look at those notes and see if any of that's unfolded. Tell the story of how it unfolded. Were you validated? Like, you got to keep your own log or keep track of your own experiences, because we all have them, but we all have them in a different way. So be courageous, have these conversations with other people, because there's other people experiencing them and they think they're crazy. So we just need to validate they're not. Or we all are, because like attracts like. So if you're watching our videos, then you probably are. So I'm just going to put that there.
So awesome.
So be resourceful, share content. So whether that's just sharing a video, whether it's ours or somebody else's, a book, a spiritual teacher or teacher that you're listening to, share the information with other people, because other people are seeking this as well. And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Podcast Addict, Spreaker, Spotify. So we're kind of all over the place, and it's Amy and Bev Community is our channel. So Amy and Bev Community. Any final words?
Just going to send blessings to everybody that's popping in here and growing, because you're making a difference for us too.
Yeah. And the
Thank
better
you.
you get, the better we get, the better we all get. So you're
Okay,
helping
yeah.
shift that energy on a
Yeah.
collective. So yeah, that's awesome. And we thank you for that.
Yes, very much.
All right, friends, tea time with Amy and Bev. We'll see you next time.
Bye.